Last week on The Flash, Barry discovered that the woman he was interacting with wasn't Iris, but a Mirrorverse creation, and that his actual Iris is lost somewhere in the Mirrorverse. So, finding Iris, as well as the also missing the also missing real Camilla and real David Singh, has to go a bit on the back burner in this episode because Godspeed has returned and is threatening Central City if Barry doesn't surrender what's left of his speed. But with his speed waning, how will Barry take on Godspeed? So, just a quick warning, this video will be filled with lots of spoilers for The Flash Pay the Piper. So, the episode opens with Joe in witness protection when Barry shows up and surprises him. And he's come to tell him about Iris and is worried that he can't save her this time. But of course, as usual, Joe believes in him, and then Barry breaks the news to Team Flash, and Cisco really takes it not so good. Like, he takes a bleak approach, suggesting that the real Iris, the real Camilla, and the real Singh are all dead. And then Cecile ends up calming everyone down, and the team sets out to try and find their missing friends. And this bleakness was definitely a theme of the episode, because like everybody was sad and everybody needed a pep talk basically. And in the Mirrorverse, Iris is struggling to, get the dissonance, whatever it's called, to work as she makes a video for Barry, in case he gets in there but doesn't find her. While in the real world, meanwhile, Barry is trying to figure out the artificial speed force when Godspeed shows up. Nash is able to save Barry, but Godspeed gets away and steals a little bit of Barry's speed, so that's not good. But then Team Flash eventually tries to sort out what's going on with Godspeed and discover that he is actually using Sonics to steal the speed from other speedsters. So they're going to need the help from Hartley Rathaway, aka the Pied Piper, but for some reason he hates the Flash because something that we didn't know about before. But in this episode, we found out that the reason he doesn't like them is because pre-crisis, the Flash was fighting Pied Piper, and things went awry during their last showdown, and basically resulted in his right-hand man, Roderick, being gravely injured. So he's still mad about that. And then throughout the whole episode, we have a little bit of Ralph and Frost, but I mean, nothing really happens there. It's pretty much just what's been going on the whole season. Oh, Frost is her own person, and there's really nothing going on there. So the Flash decides to confront Pied Piper and tells him that he thinks he can figure out a way to help Roderick, but Hartley says that no one can. And then the Flash has Nash come in and explain how he thinks that Roderick can be saved. And then eventually Hartley comes to their terms and decides to help them with Godspeed if they fix Roderick. Meanwhile, in the Mirrorverse, Iris ends up finding Camilla, like the real version, and she's trying to figure out a way to get out of the Mirrorverse. But nothing's really working out for them. Like, nothing is really happening with these characters in the Mirrorverse. Hopefully we get more next week in the season finale, but I don't know. Then at Star Labs, they all try to save Roderick, using Allegra's powers and helium, I think it was, but it doesn't end up working. So then Hartley refuses to help them, and he's like, "You lied, I shouldn't have trusted you in the first place." But then Godspeed shows up, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you, and he threatens them, and is like, "I'm gonna get your speed no matter what it takes, whatever it takes." And then after this, no one knows what to do. So then Nash gives a pep talk to Barry. So this is one of the first pep talks of the episode. And then Barry goes and has a pep talk with Hartley, And this is where we get the big reveal that honestly I kind of saw coming. Like you could see the hints and you could kind of tell that Roderick isn't just some henchman that was working for him. He's actually Hartley's boyfriend. And so that's why Hartley blames himself for everything that happened. But of course Barry gives him an opportunity to help if he wants to. But then an alarm sounds, and Godspeed is apparently at Iron Heights and is taking the speed from all of the Godspeed drones, or like the clone type things that showed up earlier. So Barry has to race off to deal with Godspeed, and a speedster chase begins. And I love these animations. That's what I miss about having a speedster as the main villain of a season, is that you would always get these speedster races throughout the city, and it would just look so cool. So I really missed that, but it looked really cool here. So fortunately for him, Pied Piper comes to help him, and he actually has a plan to stop Godspeed. So all they have to do is they just have to replicate the lightning plus Soundwave incident that ended up hurting Roderick in the first place and use it against Godspeed. So the crossing of their streams ends up working, and now Godspeed is down. But after crashing onto a car, he starts bleeding, kind of, like some weird blue substance starts coming out of him. Turns out it's actually charged sound, and it may be the solution to fixing Roderick. And it does actually end up working, and Roderick is now saved. So not such a happy ending with Godspeed, though, even though they've caught him. This Godspeed also became something of a Godspeed drone. So the real one is still out there somewhere and still wants Barry's speed. So the real one has been sending these drones after Barry to get his speed. So I don't know what this is setting up. Is this setting up Godspeed to be the main villain of Season 7? Or to just have, like, a half-season villain of Godspeed in Season 7 or something? I don't know. I just know it's probably setting up something, and we're going to see the true Godspeed at some point. But this was not the real Godspeed here. So, at the very end of the episode, after the day is saved, and Hartley and Roderick go off to live their happy lives together, hopefully crime-free now. Here comes another pep talk. Barry gives a pep talk to the whole team here about how they're going to face Eva and get back those that they love. No matter what it takes, they're going to do it. And this is basically what Nash told them. Like, Nash gave him the pep talk telling him that you have to have hope that you can get them back. And then that was also reiterated by Hartley when he was leaving. He said, you just have to have the hope that they can come back. Because if he doesn't, then they won't come back. So he spreads that joy and advice to the rest of the team. And this really helps out Cisco, because he was really taking this the worst. And he also got a pep talk from Cecile earlier, where he was saying that, like, he's not a hero anymore. He's not, like, when he was Vibe, he was a hero, because he could do everything. He had the great ideas. He never was stuck on anything. And if he actually had his Vibe powers, they could easily get into the Mirrorverse. So maybe there's some foreshadowing here that Cisco's going to get his powers back somehow. I hope it does, because Cisco's just not the same as he used to be. Like, when he first became Vibe, I didn't like it, because I liked the way he was before it was Vibe. But then when he lost his powers, now he's just different. I don't know. I hope he gets his powers back. It's probably not happening this season, because, I mean, there's one episode left. But hopefully we see it sometime next season. So at the end of the pep talk that Barry gives to the team, Cisco says that he has an idea to save Iris and the others. So they just need to build a perpetual motion machine, and the one piece they need is in Atlantis, because you may remember a couple episodes ago, Cisco was gone for like maybe 2 episodes, and he was off like doing research on what changed post-crisis. And he mentioned something about Atlantis back then, but now he's mentioning Atlantis again. And so he's going by himself, though. So I'm not sure if next week in the season finale we're going to see Atlantis in the Arrowverse. Maybe Aquaman will appear. I highly doubt that, but maybe we'll see some fish people. We're going to Atlantis. Or maybe not. They may just do that thing where it's like Cisco's not in the episode at all, and then the episode after that he would return and be like, hey, I got the thing, but there is no episode after that. So I don't know how that's going to play out, but I think it would be really, really cool if we got to see Atlantis in the next episode. But if they don't show Atlantis and Cisco isn't in the next episode at all, then that would really suck, because it's the season finale. But that was where the episode ended, and then of course you have the kind of post-credit scene thing going on there as well. And it really doesn't show us anything. It's pretty much like Eva is in some kind of like pod that's like maybe charging her powers, because she was kind of weak when she first got out of the Mirrorverse, so maybe she needed to charge up her powers. So now it just shows the pod opening up, and then she opens her eyes, and then she says, like, I'm coming for you, Joseph. So she is ready to take on her husband, and she is going to get her revenge for everything that he did to her, and also didn't do to her, because after she got in the mirror, he just kind of gave up on her and didn't try to get her out or anything. So he's probably going to die. Don't know if it's going to be in the next episode or not. Also, we know the next episode is the season finale, and it's going to have a lot to do with Iris and the others trying to get out of the Mirrorverse. But the question is, will they? Will they escape from the Mirrorverse like right before the season ends, or will they still be stuck in there until the fall when the season wraps up at the beginning of season 7, which is going to be super confusing, but I mean, it's going to happen. So anyways, guys, what did you think about this episode of The Flash? I thought it was pretty good. It was an okay episode. Wasn't great, but pretty good. So thanks so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And hope to see you in the next video. So I bestow all my DC knowledge upon you.